Speaking of exciting stuff, if you did not get a chance to tune in to Qualcomm's Investor Day 2021 event this last week, I can tell you it was a really great event. So Qualcomm CEO Cristiano Amon, um, in his keynote, talked about the company's his vision for the company, and really talked about the company's success and how it's really all about market diversification. And he talked about, the opportunities that he and team are looking at are focused on opportunities to expand revenues based on a projected 7x increase in Qualcomm's addressable markets that are valued at 700 billion within the next decade. So this is a really bullish forecast. It led to a surge in Qualcomm stock price on Tuesday, immediately following the event, which isn't surprising. But the presentation itself, not only Cristiano's presentation, but other folks from the company throughout the day was just really terrific. Again, terrific. But there's not much that the company isn't leading in. IoT, the metaverse, automotive, some really interesting things happening with regard to Qualcomm and automotive. And then all things connectivity, compute, and convergence. So what Cristiano focused on a little bit are, among markets, including smartphones, PCs, and the IoT. Again, I mentioned there's huge opportunities coming up in automotive. The company announced a collaboration with BMW to provide the Qualcomm Snapdragon Ride platform to the company's next gen ADAS system, Advanced Driver Assistance System, and also autonomous driving platforms. Qualcomm now works with, and this is kind of fun fact that I think a lot of people don't know, Qualcomm now works with 25 different vehicle OEMs providing Snapdragon chips and software for autonomous driving capabilities. They also talked about, moving beyond chips, and really, again, going into these addressable market opportunities. These include RF front end. Our colleague and fellow analyst Olivier Blanchard has written extensively about RFFE, but the other opportunities include technologies for handsets, RF front end, automotive, as I mentioned, and the IoT. And really, some of the most significant opportunities that Cristiano identified were the convergence of mobile and PCs, the metaverse for various applications, wireless fiber, and then the industrial IoT. And really, lastly, pardon me, one of the things that he talked about is not, what we're accomplishing here is not enabled by 5G alone, but it's how we define 5G that connects everything to the cloud 100% of the time. And Qualcomm is positioned at the intersection of all these trends. So, really presented a great presentation looking at Qualcomm's growth beyond handsets. One of the things that we looked at in terms of growth from fiscal year 2020 to 21 in the RF front end category, they're up 76%. In the automotive category, Qualcomm's up 51%. In the IoT category, up 67%. So I'll include some screenshots from that keynote presentation and some other keynote presentations in my show notes for this. But it was a really interesting presentation. It was, it's no surprise that Qualcomm is having the success that it's having. And again, it's all about smart diversification, not focusing all your eggs, not putting all your eggs in one basket. But it was really great to see.
Yeah, definitely Qualcomm is extending its overall ecosystem influence. It's stepping out beyond, okay, here, we're a chipset company. We're truly a
Right.
mobile ecosystem company. And I think pointing to, again, that BMW alliance, that I think also emphasized the card to cloud platform capabilities that
Right.
Qualcomm brings to the table. And obviously, the cloud's going to be a major instrument in terms of, or capability in terms of, advancing the ADS capabilities, for example. And also, it's showing that Qualcomm's stepping up in terms of these segments. Also,
Right.
for example, in the automotive segment, NVIDIA and Intel already had a pretty high profile, but now I think Qualcomm is definitely part of that top tier of profile players in terms of advancing automotive capabilities, whether it's autonomous driving or infotainment capabilities, you name it. Anything that's going to make cars smarter and safer will definitely be most welcomed.
Right.
And I think it's also interesting that they're also addressing the metaverse possibility. We also argued about that, and when Facebook renamed itself Meta,
Right.
and I'm a little skeptical about its near-term impact. Longer term, it can have, I think, potentially more impact,
Right.
especially as the capabilities become more proven. I'm anticipating that you would need at least 90 milliseconds latency to make it work on a truly, regionally distributed, let alone global basis, on a
Right.
consistent, reliable basis. Otherwise, you get too much jitter, and I think people will be put off by it. And metaverse, there's a risk will be, 3D TVs 2.0, something very
Right.
hyped, people rushing out to find out more about it, and they try it out, and they're like, oh, never mind. And we saw what happened to 3D TVs, anybody
Right.
with one. So we'll see. Right now, I'm more skeptical about it than others. But hey, I'll definitely like to be proven wrong. I just like to see the headsets become a lot more slimmer and user friendly if the
Right.
metaverse is really going to make inroads across the general public. So yeah, we'll wait with unbated breath.
I'm right there with you. I feel like, in the last 30 days alone, perhaps the most overused term is the metaverse.
Yes.
I'm already over it.
Right. Yeah. The hype cycle's already gone through its
The hype
completion.
cycle.
Now it's like, show me.
Yeah,
It'll be
exactly.
years before it really becomes a mature application, I believe.
Absolutely. Yes.